Hello everyone, just a quick one from me, Kieran from Speaking Spurs. A little bit of build up on tonight's game against Manchester United. So for all of you that have listened to videos before, you know the drill. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. Don't forget to support the video with a like and make sure you put your comments below on your thoughts for tonight's game, score prediction, things like that. So let's jump straight in with some build up. Antonio Conte believes Manchester United remain a monster in world football, but is excited to see his team test themselves at Old Trafford tonight in the Premier League. The Italian has repeatedly talked up the spending power of Erik ten Hag's side during the opening months of the season, especially in reference to Spurs' own ability in the transfer market. Despite enjoying what is our best start to a campaign in 59 years, Conte has been keen to play down talk of a title bid, but knows victory away to one of the top six in midweek would mark a step forward for his players. He said, United for the present and the future will always be a monster that you have to go to fight. They have big potential from an economic aspect. He then went on to say, on Wednesday, it will be another important game. I think compared to last season, we have improved in many aspects. Whose side lost 3-2 at Old Trafford in March. But when you go to play against United, especially at Old Trafford, it will be a difficult game. At the same time, I enjoy the fact that this test is coming now. We need to understand very well what are our ambitions and to continue to try to get good results. Conte actually revealed in his press conference that he was actually pursued by Alex Ferguson during his playing days, but wanted to stay and finish his career at Juventus, despite the fact that Man United were winning the Premier League regularly at that stage. While they've not tasted success in top flight since 2013, the 53-year-old Conte believes that Manchester United is still a side capable of competing for trophies. He then added, to play at Old Trafford is not simple, not easy. It's not a good place for the opponent. There is a fantastic atmosphere, but at the same time, it's a big theatre. You have to go there and play with personality, play your football and your ideas. This period is not a lucky period for United if you compare it to 10 years ago, but only 2 years ago, don't forget, United fought for the Premier League and finished second behind City. We are talking about a team that, if they don't make big mistakes, they always stay in the top four, play Champions League and fight for the title and trophies. I'd like my team to go there and play with personality, with the desire to get 3 points. I think this will be a good step for us to go there and to play with personality and try to get the win. Pretty straightforward stuff. We knew there was no chance Conte was going to talk about us being title contenders, especially at this stage of the season. It's very early. It's quite tight at the top there with Arsenal with their 4-point lead, Man City level on points of us, Manchester United just outside, Chelsea are going to be there, Liverpool no doubt will work their way up the table as the season goes on. They'll strengthen in January, and then Brighton with outside contenders to break into sort of like the top 6, top 4 category. So let's talk about team news. For us, calf injury rules Richarlison out that he picked up in the last game. Conte said that there's no way he's going to miss the World Cup, so hopefully that injury isn't going to take too long to recover. Fellow Brazilian Emerson Royal, he's serving the final match of his three-match ban for the red card away to Arsenal earlier in the month. Kulusevski will be checked on with his hamstring. He's been carefully managed since sustaining that in September. And then for Manchester United, Anthony Martial, he'll be absent. He's got a back complaint. Christian Eriksen could play after returning to training Tuesday from illness. He was kept out of the game at the weekend. McTominay's suspension is up, and Dubravka, he returns to the fold with eligibility. But Maguire, Van der Beek, Wan-Bissaka, Brandon Williams and Alex Tuanzebe all remain sidelined. So for United, they've got quite a few players out. A couple back, but, you know, we're certainly in a better position. We've obviously got Lucas Moura's back in the fold as well. He's had some Premier League minutes, very little. So what happens if we win this game? Well, victory will see us jump up to second in the table. We'll leapfrog Man City. That's obviously playing one more game than them. goal difference isn't even anything to worry about at this stage. But yeah, we'll jump above them. They'll obviously have the game in hand. It will narrow the gap on Arsenal if we win to 1 point and put the pressure on them. But again, they'll have a game in hand. But it just puts pressure on and mounts it for them into their next games. If we look at Manchester United's form coming into the game, they drew 0-0 with Newcastle at the weekend, albeit with the controversy of Cristiano Ronaldo's goal. If you haven't seen that, have a look online. They beat Everton away in a 2-1 win. They lost 6-3 away to City at the Etihad. But in between that, they've had the Europa League games where they've beat Omonia, Nicosia in both of the Europa League ties. So if you have a look at that, it's kind of a mixed bag. Their only win in the Premier League in those games coming away, a draw at home, another loss away, a win home and away in the Europa League. So very much up and down. However, I would say Omonia and Nicosia probably not on the same level of any of the opposition they faced in the Premier League in those games whatsoever. So we could probably discount those games there. But yeah, Premier League form, the most recent a draw, then a win away and a loss away. So one of everything, mixed bag for them. Obviously, we know the situation with us. We've only had the loss to Arsenal in the Premier League this season. We've been racking up the points. We're on our best run, as I said earlier, in a Premier League, a top flight campaign in 59 years. So who knows? It's a tough one to call. They were talking about it on TalkSport this morning. They actually had the legend that is Teddy Sheringham, who's obviously played for Manchester United and Tottenham. And his prediction for tonight, he reckons Tottenham are going to come away with a 2-1 win. So I'm sure that's going to upset a lot of the Manchester United fans that were listening to TalkSport this morning. But, you know, there it is. You know, at the moment in the Premier League, we're looking fairly solid. It's not the most exciting in terms of the way we're playing for fans to watch, but we have to build a stable ground, I suppose. Defensively, we've got a pretty solid shape and we absorb pressure and then we break on the counter-attack. And it's kind of a weird one for Spurs fans, I suppose, because, you know, back in the day, I say back in the day like it was a long time ago for me. Back in my day, and among the years, Spurs have kind of been known as entertainers. We get very mixed results. We've never been like right up there in the Premier League era, certainly, but we've always had those entertaining players that have dazzled. But in more recent years, Pochettino was kind of a bit of a mixed bag. He had the defensive structure, but he also had the players that created chances. It was the high tempo press. But in terms of flair players under Mourinho and Conte, it's not really there. I think sometimes we get away with it because Bentancur, he looks good on the ball individually, like his little turns and stuff like that kind of make us look a bit more glamorous than we are. And we're not. We're very much a defensive, rigid structure that breaks down the opposition's attacks and then breaks on teams quickly. And that looks impressive when it pulls off. But ultimately, I think we'd love to go back to the Pochettino days in the sense of we are a high-pressing team, but we dominate possession within the game, bring a little bit of flair into it and, you know, score a decent chunk of goals because we've still got some of the players in there to do it. But I think at the moment, Conte is purely playing to the system he likes with the players that he's got available to him. He now knows he can be adaptable and put the extra man in midfield if he needs to. But we do need that creative spark and, you know, the man against us potentially tonight, Christian Eriksen, could have been that missing piece of the puzzle. Conte actually said in his interview that he would love to work with Christian Eriksen again. Bit tongue-in-cheek, not too much in it. I wouldn't expect anything to happen in January. He's very much a Manchester United man for the foreseeable future. But anyway, I digress. On to tonight. Let me know in the comments below what your score predictions are. I actually think we're going to come away with a win as well. So don't know what the score will be. Games against Manchester United, very up and down for us. So yeah, leave in the comments below your thoughts on tonight's game. Thanks for sticking around. Don't forget to subscribe, like and comment. And until after the game, come on you Spurs.